Welcome to the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show.
Cup of Joe Wrestling Show?
With Joey Harris. A podcast for the wrestling fan on the go. So take your favorite beverage of choice and join Joey as he takes a look at some of the biggest shows on the WWE Network.
From makeshift studios deep in the heart of stately Maine Manor, this is the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show. I am your host, Joey Harris. You can follow the show's Twitter at Cup of Joe Pod. Email the show at cupofjoewrestlingshow@gmail.com. And folks, fought it for 18 months, but I got COVID. And it is awful. My wife was alerted by her work that she had been exposed to someone who was positive, and she took one of those home tests, and that too was positive. So with my work, they put us in isolation and quarantine in another building. And so a week ago this past Saturday, grabbed stuff, everything that we would need, and came over and went into isolation, went into quarantine. And then a week ago this past Monday, we went and did one of those drive-through tests, and sure enough, we both came back positive, and I exhibited symptoms. I was running 2 to 3 days behind my wife. She had worse symptoms than I did. I did not have anywhere near the symptoms that she had. She lost both smell and taste, and so far I've only lost smell. And other than a little congestion, most of mine all of my other symptoms have gone away, other than the extreme exhaustion that this leaves you with. I mean, you have to seriously pace yourself to do simple tasks that used to be nothing, now take time because of just how exhausted that you are, and that has taken some getting used to. I thought that, well, if I have to be here regardless of whether I have it or I don't have it, I'll get a lot of stuff done. And I did not get a lot of stuff done other than resting or sleeping for many, many days. And it was all just part of the recovery process. And I'm thankful that both my wife and I were fully vaccinated months ago. This thing is just something else, folks. And if you're not, please go get vaccinated. Take care of yourself. Wear your masks. Stay 6 feet apart. Wash your hands. Stay hydrated. Those are my tips to you for all of this, because I would not wish this upon my worst enemy. And it takes a lot for me to say that. But with this, I know it's true. But with that said, let's dive right into this week's show. Today, we go back to 2011 and look at SummerSlam 2011 from the WWE. SummerSlam 2011 took place on August the 14th, 2011 from the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. There were 17,404 in attendance, and the show did 296,000 pay-per-view buys. Adam Jones from Tool plays the national anthem on his guitar. We then get the SummerSlam intro. Miz comes out. He says the Miz has returned to SummerSlam. He goes on and on until getting interrupted by R-Truth. He comes to the ring talking about conspiracies. Then Alberto Del Rio comes out. They are taking on Kofi Kingston, John Morrison, and Rey Mysterio in a 6-man tag team match. Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, and Booker T are the announcers for the evening. They introduce the Spanish announce team, Carlos Cabrera and Marcelo Rodriguez. Miz attacking Rey Mysterio on Raw is shown. Kingston and Miz start. Miz with a side headlock. Kingston reverses it. Miz pushes off. Kingston with a shoulder block. Kingston with a drop kick. Morrison tagged in. Double Irish whip and a flapjack to Miz. Spinning leg drop to Miz by Morrison. Morrison with an Irish whip, but drops his head and Miz delivers a kick to it. R-Truth tagged in. Morrison with a takedown and punches to R-Truth. He runs R-Truth into a turnbuckle. Morrison with a head kick to R-Truth. R-Truth comes back with kicks. He kicks Morrison down. Morrison with a kick to R-Truth's face. Del Rio distracts the referee so R-Truth and Miz can push Morrison off the turnbuckle to the floor. R-Truth with a snapmare to Morrison. Miz tagged in and slams Morrison to the mat. Running kick to Morrison. Miz with a headlock. Morrison with some elbows to get out of the hole. Miz grabs Morrison by the hair to bring him down, but Morrison kicks Miz as he is going down. A double count going. Kingston tagged in. He knocks Miz down. Drop kick to Miz. Miz pushes Kingston into a corner. Kingston gets his boot up on a corner charge. Top rope crossbody onto Miz. That gets a 2 count. Kingston slams Miz down. Kingston hits a boom drop on Miz. Kingston goes for Trouble in Paradise, but Miz ducks and goes for the skull-crushing finale. Kingston hits the SOS, but Del Rio breaks up the cover. Del Rio knocks Mysterio off the apron. Kingston drop kicks Del Rio. Miz hits an overdrive. Kingston kicks out on 2. R-Truth tagged in and kicks Kingston. R-Truth with a face buster. He gets another 2 count. Del Rio tagged in. He does a running kick to Kingston's ribs. Del Rio with a back suplex. He gets the 2 count. Kingston kicked by Del Rio, but comes back with kicks of his own. Miz tagged in and cuts off a Kingston tag attempt. Miz with a suplex. Kingston gets Miz in a roll-up for a 2 count. Miz with a clothesline. Gets another 2 count. Miz with a rear chin lock. Kingston with a takeover to break the hold. Kingston with a sunset flip. A double stomp to Miz. Mysterio and R-Truth both tagged in. Mysterio with a seated senton and then a crossbody to R-Truth. He gets the 2 count. Corner whip by Mysterio. R-Truth flips out of the corner before the charge. R-Truth with a sunset flip. Mysterio flips out of that and delivers a kick to R-Truth. He gets the 2 count. Head scissors to R-Truth to set up for the 619. Miz comes in and is also set up for the 619. Del Rio runs away. Del Rio grabs Mysterio's leg as he goes for the 619. Morrison hits a crossbody to Del Rio on the outside, and Mysterio goes to hit a double 619 to Miz and R-Truth. But Miz slips under the legs of Mysterio. A flying knee to Miz by Kingston on the outside, and Mysterio hits a plank splash onto R-Truth to get the pin. John Laurinaitis is talking to CM Punk in the back and saying he wants to know if that kick was accidental because he can't have his authority challenged. He wants a public apology. Punk does a condescending apology to Laurinaitis. Laurinaitis leaves and Stephanie McMahon shows up. She says she came to wish Punk good luck tonight. He said she should go wish her husband or her daddy good luck. She says she has already spoken to both of them. But what would she know? She's just Vince McMahon's clueless daughter, right? Punk says he didn't say that, she did. He called her idiotic. She sticks out her hand and says good luck. He says he would shake it, but he knows where that hand's been. A look at the destructive path Mark Henry has been on, and Sheamus accepting Henry's challenge. Mark Henry versus Sheamus. They lock up. Sheamus with a side headlock. Henry pushes off and hits a shoulder block. Back and forth. Sheamus with some forearms. Henry with a headbutt. Henry pushes Sheamus into the corner. Sheamus comes back with kicks to Henry's stomach. Sheamus with a series of right hands. Henry with an Irish whip. Sheamus comes back with a back elbow. Sheamus with shots and a knee to Henry. Sheamus with forearms. Henry pushes him away. Sheamus grabs Henry. Henry delivers elbows to Sheamus and throws him outside. Henry goes outside, picks Sheamus up, and throws him back in the ring. Henry hits Sheamus with a clothesline. Henry with a big splash. He gets a 2 count. He puts Sheamus up against the ropes and splashes onto him. That gets a 1 count. A Let's Go Sheamus chant goes out. Sheamus comes back with some right hands to Henry. Henry with a backbreaker. Henry then with An over-the-shoulder backbreaker. Sheamus battles out of it. Sheamus with forearms to Henry's back. Henry drives Sheamus headfirst into the corner. Henry goes for the big splash in the corner, but Sheamus moves. A double count going. Both men up, and Sheamus hitting Henry with a double axe handle. He hits a series of them, ducks a Henry clothesline, and comes back with another axe handle to knock Henry down. Sheamus dropping knees on Henry. He ties Henry up in the ropes and delivers several blows to Henry's chest. Sheamus with a knee to Henry's face. A mid-ring collision and both men are down. Henry goes for a corner charge, but Sheamus gets his boot up. Sheamus goes up top and hits a shoulder block to Henry. He gets a 2 count. Sheamus goes for a brogue kick, but Henry ducks and hits Sheamus with a clothesline. Henry goes for the world's strongest slam. Sheamus slips out of it and hits the brogue kick. Henry falls out of the ring. Sheamus follows Henry outside, and Henry runs Sheamus into the corner post. He then runs Sheamus through the ringside barrier into the crowd. Henry rolls back into the ring. The referee counting as Sheamus crawls back towards the ring, but Sheamus gets counted out. Josh Matthews interviews Christian. Christian says Randy Orton is not leaving SummerSlam the World Heavyweight Champion. He says he has an insurance policy and the entire WWE is the benefactor. He says he's a summer blockbuster and Orton is an overrated flop. Justin Roberts introduces CeeLo Green, who comes out to perform. Some of the divas come out and dance when he sings Forget You. A Be a Star campaign ad. WWE Divas Championship match. Kelly with Eve Torres versus Beth Phoenix with Natalya. The bell rings and Kelly attacks Phoenix right away with forearms. Kick to Phoenix in the corner. Phoenix pushes Kelly away. Phoenix reverses a corner whip. Kelly with a foot up on the charge, but Phoenix grabs the foot. She flips Kelly backwards, but Kelly lands on her feet. Phoenix misses a clothesline. Kelly with a spinning head scissors that sends Phoenix to the apron. Kelly with a standing head scissors to Phoenix. Kelly rushes Phoenix and runs her off the ring apron to the floor. Kelly with a crossbody to Phoenix from the apron. Kelly throws Phoenix back in the ring. Phoenix blocks a Kelly backslide and goes to overpower Kelly. But Kelly flips out of it and Phoenix clotheslines her. She guillotines Kelly on the top rope. That gets a 2 count. Phoenix throws Kelly into a corner. Phoenix drives a boot into Kelly's face. Phoenix with a running backwards splash in the corner. Phoenix with a snapmare. That gets a 2 count. Phoenix with a rear chin lock. Phoenix with an over-the-shoulder backbreaker to Kelly. Kelly fights out of it and hits a neck breaker on Phoenix. Kelly with a series of forearms. Phoenix picks Kelly up and runs her into the turnbuckle. She hangs Kelly up in the Tree of Woe and slams her head down. She kicks Kelly and goes to charge her, but Kelly lifts herself up and rolls Phoenix up for a 2 count. Phoenix with some forearms and a side suplex for a 2 count. Phoenix grabs Kelly by her hair and drags her over to the second rope. She punches Kelly on the back of the neck. Kelly avoids a running kick by Phoenix on the apron and guillotines Phoenix on the top rope. Kelly repeatedly smashes Phoenix's head into the ring canvas. Kelly goes for a somersault back elbow to Phoenix in the corner, but Phoenix grabs her and goes for the glam slam. Kelly gets a roll up to pin Phoenix. Stephanie McMahon is shown coming out of John Cena's dressing room. R-Truth is shown muttering about conspiracies. He then turns and there's Jimmy Hart. He asks Hart what he thinks. Hart says R-Truth needs someone to manage him and take him to the top. Hart lists some of the men he's managed. He says he can manage R-Truth. R-Truth says he's right. You got to think big in this business. Big and not little Jimmy. He then accuses Hart of being little Jimmy, which Hart denies. R-Truth says there are conspiracies everywhere. Ron Artest and his daughter are then shows, and she says they say Artest needs counseling. Topical humor of the time. Flashback to Daniel Bryan winning Money in the Bank and Wade Barrett attacking Bryan on SmackDown. Wade Barrett versus Daniel Bryan. Barrett attacks with punches and kicks to begin. Headbutt to Bryan. Barrett with a side headlock. Bryan pushes off. Barrett comes back with a shoulder block. Bryan with a running knee to Barrett's stomach. Bryan with a forearm as a Daniel Bryant chant goes out. Bryan with a wrist lock and working on the shoulder of Barrett. Barrett with a right hand to break the hold. Barrett with a wrist lock. Bryan with a spin to get out of the hold and drop kicks Barrett. Bryan gets Barrett in a horizontal hammerlock and is hyperextending his other arm out. He turns his shoulder and gets a 2 count. Barrett gets back to his feet. Barrett with a back elbow to Bryan. Barrett running the ropes, but Bryan keeps leapfrogging and ducking him. Bryan finally hits a drop kick to Barrett. He gets a 2 count. Barrett comes back with a shot to Bryan's stomach. Barrett with a corner whip, but Bryan crawls under Barrett's leg when he crawls away. Bryan with a leg drag. Bryan with a running drop kick to Barrett in the corner. He gets a 2 count. Bryan goes to do a surfboard, but can't get it on, so he stomps on Barrett's legs instead. Running kick to Barrett's chest. That gets a 2 count. Bryan with a forearm and a corner whip. Barrett reverses it, but Bryan does a flip out of the corner to avoid the charge. Barrett with a big sidewalk slam. That gets a 2 count. Barrett punching Bryan. Barrett with a slingshot backbreaker to get a 2 count. Barrett with a chin lock to Bryan. Bryan gets to his feet and delivers elbows to Barrett's stomach to break the hold. Barrett pushes off. Bryan ducks a clothesline and comes back and hits one of his own. Bryan with a series of forearms to Barrett. Barrett hits a flying forearm to Bryan. He gets a 2 count. Barrett drapes Bryan's head over the second rope and puts his leg on the back of Bryan's head to choke him. He then turns Bryan around in the ropes and delivers a series of knees to Bryan's face. Big running kick to knock Bryan to the floor. Barrett throws Bryan back into the ring and gets a 2 count. Barrett with a headlock. Bryan coming back with a series of kicks to Barrett. Bryan flung to the apron and Barrett goes for another running kick. Bryan pulls the rope down and Barrett gets caught up in the ropes. Back and forth on the apron. Barrett spills Bryan back inside. Bryan with a drop kick that knocks Barrett to the floor. Bryan with a running knee to Barrett from the apron to the floor. Bryan pushes Barrett back in the ring. He hits a top rope drop kick to Barrett. That gets a 2 count. Bryan reverses an Irish whip. Bryan ducks a clothesline. Barrett hits a super kick. Barrett goes for a pump handle slam, but Bryan slips behind and delivers a series of kicks to Barrett. Bryan with a knee to Barrett's chest, then a series of kicks to the chest, then a kick to Barrett's head to knock him down. That gets a 2 count. Barrett ducks a corner charge and delivers a running kick to Bryan. Barrett sets Bryan up for wasteland, Bryan fighting it with elbows to Barrett. He slips around and puts a submission move to Barrett. When Barrett sinks to the ground, Bryan puts on the label lock. Barrett gets to the ropes. Bryan goes back to kicking Barrett's chest. He puts Barrett on the top rope and climbs up with him. But Barrett pushes Bryan and he crotches himself on the top rope. Barrett then clotheslines him off the top rope. Barrett hits wasteland and gets the pin. California National Guard soldiers in attendance are shown. Flashback to what has happened between Christian and Randy Orton since Money in the Bank. World's Heavyweight Championship match. No holds barred. Christian versus Randy Orton. Christian out first. He gets the mic. He says he can't wait for this moment. He says he has someone to be in his corner. Edge. Edge comes out. Edge says, as everyone knows, he can't compete anymore. But when he left, he was glad because he cracked the door open for Christian and he kicked it down and came through and won the World Heavyweight Championship. He says that it was unfair that Christian had to defend the title 5 days after a ladder match. But Christian kept complaining and whining and moaning day after day and week after week. He said that Christian finally won the World Heavyweight Championship back. But he did it by DQ. Edge says he did some heinous things in the ring, but he always did it with style. He didn't do it with lawyers, suits, and clipboards. But somewhere along the way, he lost himself. He didn't know his best friend would become a moaning, whining, crying little bitch. Edge then leaves. Orton gets an outstanding ovation as he comes out. The bell rings. They circle each other, back and forth with shots. Orton runs Christian into the corner post. He beats Christian down in the corner. Orton puts Christian into another corner and Christian fighting his way out of it with kicks. Christian with a corner whip, but Orton comes out of it with a clothesline. Christian with a back elbow to Orton from the second rope. He gets a 1 count. Christian beating Orton down in the corner. Orton reverses a corner whip and hits a backdrop to Christian. Orton stomps that only the kid in Bristol love. Orton drops a knee across Christian's throat. He gets a 2 count. Christian drapes Orton over the second rope and stands on his back. Christian goes outside to punch Orton in the face, but Orton pulls away and sets Christian up for a ropes DDT. Christian counters back dropping Orton to the outside. They exchange blows on the outside, and Orton pushes Christian into the barricade. Orton starts dismantling the announce table. They battle to the top of the announce table. Orton goes for the RKO, but Christian pushes off and goes and grabs the World Heavyweight Championship. He takes off through the crowd and Orton follows. He catches Christian on the steps and delivers forearms to him. He knocks Christian down on the aisle. He throws Christian back over the barricade to ringside. He then throws Christian back into the ring. He punches Christian on the turnbuckle. He goes to charge Christian, but he sidesteps it and runs Orton into the corner shoulder first. Orton's shoulder appears to be hurt, and he rolls out of the ring. Christian comes and throws him back in. Let's go Christian, Christian sucks dueling chants go out. Christian pulls a kendo stick from under the ring. He hits Orton with it. He gets a 2 count. Orton in the corner. Christian goes to hit him with the kendo stick. Orton moves and hits Christian with kicks and forearms. Christian reverses an Irish whip and pushes Orton down. Christian gets a 2 count. Christian with a corner charge. Orton gets his leg up on the charge end and rolls Christian up for a 2 count. Orton goes back to kicks and forearms. Christian reverses an Irish whip and hits a spine buster. He gets a 2 count. Orton bleeding from the mouth. Christian gets the kendo stick again and goes to the second rope to hit Orton with it. But Orton drop kicks Christian as he is jumping. Orton with a clothesline. Christian misses a clothesline. Orton with a power slam. Orton grabs the kendo stick. He goes to hit Christian in the corner, but Christian gets his boot up. Christian goes to drop kick Orton from the ropes, but Orton avoids it and rolls Christian up for a 2 count. Christian with a right hand. Orton with a fast press and punches. Orton goes for an apron DDT. Christian counters and goes for the kill switch. Orton turns that into a backbreaker. He gets a 2 count. Orton goes for the punt. Christian rolls outside and grabs Orton's leg and goes to pull him into the corner post, but Orton raises his legs and Christian goes headfirst into the post. Orton with kicks and knees to Christian on the outside. Orton pulls out 2 tables. A "We Want Tables" chant goes out. Christian slams Orton against the ring apron. Christian sets up a table at ringside. Orton blocks being slammed into it and slams Christian into it. Orton then superplexes Christian onto a table in the ring. The table was not set up. He gets a 2 count. The table is cracked as we see as Orton sets it up. Orton goes to run Christian into the set up table. Christian counters with a death drop. He calls for the spear. Orton leapfrogs the spear attempt and goes for the RKO. Christian pushes off and throws Orton to the outside. Orton reverses being run into the ring steps and Christian goes flying over them. Orton takes the ring steps apart. Christian blocks being run into them and runs Orton headfirst into the steps. Christian drags Orton over to the Spanish announce table. He takes it apart and hits Orton with a television monitor. Christian then mocking Orton's Viper routine. He gets Orton up and goes for an RKO, but Orton blocks and hits an RKO on Christian through the table. A Randy chant goes out. A "This is awesome" chant then goes out. Christian trying to crawl back into the ring. They both are in the ring. Orton goes for the RKO again. Christian blocks and hits the kill switch. He gets a 2.5 count. Christian goes outside and grabs 2 chairs. He slides a chair into Orton's head and goes for a concerto. He spits on Orton, but Orton moves as Christian swings the chair. Orton grabs the chair and hits Christian with it. Christian on the apron. Orton hits him again, and Christian goes through the table set up at ringside. Orton rolls outside and puts the ring steps in the ring, and then throws garbage cans and kendo sticks in the ring. He goes to curb stomp Christian on the ring steps, but Christian moves. Christian misses a clothesline. Orton power slams him into and through the table set up in the corner. Orton hitting Christian with the kendo stick. Orton then apron DDTs Christian through a garbage can. Orton goes into his Viper routine, and Christian hits him with a kendo stick. Christian goes for a crossbody and gets the RKO by Orton onto the ring steps. Orton falls on him to get the pin. New World Heavyweight Champion. SummerSlam Access highlights shown. A Be a Star campaign event highlights. Stephanie McMahon and Triple H shown talking backstage. Highlights of the Money in the Bank main event. They show Triple H relieving Vince McMahon of his duties and John Cena pinning Rey Mysterio to become the new WWE Champion. They then show CM Punk returning and Triple H announcing that they will settle this at SummerSlam and that he's going to be the special guest referee. Jenny McCarthy is shown in the crowd. Triple H comes to the ring. Main event, WWE Championship match. CM Punk versus John Cena with Triple H as the special guest referee. Punk comes out to a big ovation. He sits in the ring facing the stage waiting on John Cena. Cena comes out and says to the camera, "This is where I started. I just walked the concourse of this place in gimmick." He gets a good ovation. Triple H holds up both championships. Triple H checks Punk and then Cena. The bell rings and they circle each other. They lock up, enter the corner and break clean. "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks," dueling chants go out. Cena with a wrist lock. Punk reverses it into a side headlock. Cena pushes off. Punk with a shoulder block and a 1 count. They battle for position. Punk with a waist lock. Cena reverses it into a side headlock into a takeover. Punk pushes off. Cena with a shoulder block. A CM Punk chant goes out. Cena with a single leg takedown. Cena with an armbar. Cena with a snapmare into a headlock. Punk pushes off and drop kicks Cena. He gets a 1 count. Punk with a headlock. Punk with a body vice. Cena breaks the vice. Cena breaks the headlock and hits a knee on Punk's stomach, and then hits a gut-wrench suplex. He gets a 1 count. Cena with a headlock. Cena with a suplex. He gets a 1 count. Cena back to the headlock. A Fruity Pebbles chant goes out. Punk trying to get to his feet. Cena with a scoop slam, and he drops an elbow on Punk. He gets another 1 count. Cena goes back to a headlock. Punk with a takeover and a kick to the face of Cena. A CM Punk chant goes out again. Punk with a series of knees to the stomach of Cena. An Irish whip and another knee to the stomach. He gets a 2 count. Punk with a falling headbutt to Cena. Then another one. He gets another 2 count. Punk with a body vice on Cena. Cena bridges out of the move and goes for the STF, but Punk pushes off with his legs. Cena on the apron. Punk tries to suplex him back in. Cena blocks it and tries to suplex Punk out of the ring, so Punk guillotines Cena on the top rope. A "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks" dueling chant goes out again as Punk climbs to the second rope and then dropkicks Cena to the outside. Cena rolls into the ring and Punk covers him for a 1 count. Punk runs an elbow into Cena's stomach, then a seated senton to Cena. He gets a 2 count. Punk with a chin lock. Cena lifts Punk up and side slams him. Cena with a shoulder block as a Fruity Pebbles chant starts again. He goes for another shoulder block, but Punk hits a high knee to Cena. He gets a 2 count. Punk misses a running knee to the corner when Cena moves. Cena with 2 shoulder blocks. He ducks a Punk clothesline attempt and goes to slam Punk down. Punk holds on and takes Cena over. Punk with a running knee. Punk with a side headlock. Cena slams Punk down. Cena goes for "You can't see me." Punk goes to catch Cena's head in a body vice. Cena lifts Punk up and goes for a slam. Punk plants Cena in a DDT-like moves and applies a submission move to Cena's neck and head. Punk screaming tap to Cena. Cena gets some leverage and turns the move into an STF. Punk counters it into a sitting side keylock. He gets a 2 count while still applying the hold. Another 2 count and Cena counters it into the crossface. Punk makes it to the ropes. Cena goes for a clothesline and Punk dumps him to the outside of the ring. Punk with a tope to Cena on the outside. Triple H counts both men until he gets to 9. Then he goes outside himself to tell them to get back in the ring. He picks both men up and throws them back in the ring. They finally make it back to their feet. Back and forth. Punk misses a roundhouse kick to Cena, who picks Punk up for the AA. Punk slips out and goes to charge Cena, who drop kicks Punk. You can't see me. 5-knuckle shuffle. Cena goes for the attitude adjustment. Punk counters into a sunset flip. He gets a 2 count. Cena with a jackknife cover. Punk bridges out of it. Punk goes for a backslide. Cena slips out. Punk with a big kick to the back of Cena's head. That gets a 2 count. Punk goes for the GTS. Cena slips out and corner whips and splashes Punk. Big slam to Punk. That gets a 2 count. Cena starts to go up top. Punk hits him with a running knee. Punk with a bulldog from the second turnbuckle. That gets a 2 count. Punk launches himself off the top rope. Cena avoids him and catches him in the STF. Cena screaming tap. Punk fights and gets to the ropes. Cena goes for the attitude adjustment. Punk slips out and goes for the GTS, but Cena slips out. Cena hits the AA. He gets a close 2 count. Cena argues with Triple H over the count. Cena goes for the top rope leg drop. Punk moves. Punk hits the GTS. He gets a 2.5 count. Punk goes up top. He hits an elbow drop a la Randy Savage. That gets another 2 count. A Randy Savage chant goes out, which is pretty cool. Cena grabs a quick roll up for a 2 count. Punk with a running knee to Cena. Cena with forearms and kicks to Punk. Punk with kicks to come back. Another running knee by Punk. Another GTS by Punk. Cena has his foot on the ropes as Triple H counts the pin. The announcers are screaming to Triple H that Cena's foot was on the ropes. Punk given the title. Cena screams at Triple H about his foot being on the ropes. Punk sits on the announce table with the title. He raises the title as he goes to leave. He circles the ring with the belt, then goes back to the ring. Triple H still in the ring and explains that Cena says his foot was on the ropes, but Triple H didn't see it. He then puts his hand out to Punk to shake. Punk doesn't shake, but Triple H raises his hand to show that he's the winner. Triple H leaves the ring. Kevin Nash comes in from the crowd and clotheslines Punk in the ring. He powerbombs Punk. Triple H comes back towards the ring. Nash leaves back through the crowd. Alberto Del Rio appears with the Money in the Bank briefcase and a referee. He cashes in the contract. The bell rings. Del Rio with a running kick to the back of the head of Punk. He pins Punk to become the new WWE champion. He raises the championship up. Triple H looks confused. Punk's still on the mat. The announcers try to figure out what's going on as Del Rio celebrates and they sign off from Los Angeles. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at @TheJoeyHarris. If you like the show, please leave a review on iTunes or Apple Podcasts. I would really appreciate it. Thank you for joining me this week. This is Joey saying so long from stately Maine Manor.
The Cup of Joe Wrestling Show is a production of Baby Kangaroo Media.